Honorable Speaker, I'll start by saying that Article 55 of the Constitution provides that the state shall take measures including affirmative action, programs to ensure that youth have access to service such as education, training, and employment, and also have opportunities to participate in socioeconomic spheres. Honorable Speaker, Kenya currently does not have a robust law on internship. That is why this bill by Honorable Lesuda is very timely and most welcome, and it is going to cure some of the problems that we have had in this sector. Honorable Speaker, it is a fact that most private and public firms do not pay interns, and many interns struggle on a daily basis as they attend to their duties of internship in those public and private institutions. Of course, some of those institutions pay out of their own volition, and this is the reason why we must have a legal framework to make sure that these private and public institutions are governed by provisions of law to be able to support these interns as they do their internship. So this brings us, before I go to that, Honorable Speaker, even the National Employment Authority Act only talks of, issues of placement of interns in public and public institutions, but does not address the question of the stipends or payment for these interns. That's why this bill is very important. And this brings me to the question of who are these interns? What are interns? According to the online Oxford Dictionary, the position intern is the position of a student or trainee who works in an organization, sometimes without pay, in order to gain work experience or satisfy requirements for qualification. This is the definition of interns. Honorable Speaker, as it has been said by other contributors before me, these interns have also been misused. Apart from not being paid, they've also been misused. For example, some have been used, these interns who are actually professionals, like has been mentioned before. Some are teachers, some are doctors, some are lawyers, some are engineers, and some are technologists. But they have been misused and reduced to photocopy assistants, messengers, storekeepers, office cleaners, errand boys and girls. And that is why this bill is very important, because it gives dignity to the whole question around internship. The bill addresses the question of the welfare of the interns, the matter around monthly pay, the questions around sick leave, especially in Article 10, Section 10 and Section 11. It talks about the question of personal accident insurance cover, and of course the question around subsistence, so that these interns, when they go and work in those institutions, public or private, are able to be supported by some small stipend for their food, for fare, and for airtime for their phones. Honorable Speaker, the bill also moves to address the question of the working conditions for these interns, and it covers interns not working only in the national government institution, but it also covers interns working in the county governments. Honorable Speaker, the bill also addresses the question of duration of the internship, up to 12 months. And we have been given the best practices, like for example in South Africa, which has a similar duration of internship, which is long enough to be able to give a student satisfying requirements for their qualification or trying to gain some work experience to be able to interact with the nature of the work they're supposed to do when they get full-time employment. And most importantly, the bill also addresses the question of ensuring that public institutions budget. They have provisions for budgeting for the resources that are going to be used for improving the working conditions and the welfare of these interns. Otherwise, we don't have any provisions now to compel or even to encourage public institutions to budget as we go. Right now, we are going through a budget cycle, but because there's no that provision in law, there's no framework that compels or encourages public institutions to be able to plan and budget for these interns. So most institutions never plan, never budget for these interns, and that is why we never have resources for these interns. With those few remarks, Honorable Speaker, I say I strongly support this bill, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to contribute. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Esther Passaris, member for Nairobi City County.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I stand to support my colleague, Honorable Naisula, for bringing this Public Service Internship Bill, Bill number 63 of 2022, and the Committee of Labor for their work into making sure it comes to this stage. Madam Speaker, you know, this country has an unemployment rate of over 30%. And that means over 10 million Kenyans are out there either unemployed or underemployed. Without the structures that we need to have on internships and without the legal laws to support it, we will end up having a lot of underemployed citizens. And underemployed citizens will not be able to actually effectively look after their families. When we come up with a bill such as this, we're putting legal frameworks, we're making sure that the monthly stipend is actually decent enough for them to be able to sustain their families. We're making sure that the programs that you have within the various public institutions are well tailored to make sure that if there's going to be an absorption of these interns, that they are going to be able to do the work that they're doing. I know that the Teacher Service Commission has an internship program of 2 years where they guarantee absorption of everyone. And I think it's important, you know, when I heard Honorable Elachi speak, she mentioned that you're employed as an individual. You know, I think as a country, we have two areas that really have done us good, but they're also our undoing. One of the areas is that we go and rush to court with everything. And so we actually paralyze counties and governments from performing duties. And then in the end, people ask, where are the services? It's because they've been derailed. I remember having a conversation with Governor Sakaja of Nairobi and asking, what are we going to do about the garbage collection? Somebody had gone to court and stopped the contract that they were about to enter with somebody who had won the bid to be able to help us sort out our garbage through recycling